Hello everyone, the CD Spin here, bringing you guys another amazing album review that you guys will all love. And this time, hopefully, I will say the rating at the end. And today, I'm gonna review the sophomore album by Billie Eilish. Yes, the wanted and popular, very popular pop star. Billie Eilish is back with her sophomore album, Happier Than Ever, following 2019's When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? Which I honestly loved. The reason I liked it so much was because it was so fresh and it was just, really cool and filled with personality, I guess. Plus, the production by Phineas was just mwah. Billie Eilish also had an EP in 2017, which I found boring, but finally, after a few singles, a couple of which I was a huge fan of, and a couple I really wasn't, but we'll get to that. She's here with Happier Than Ever, her second album. Her second album, not including the EP. And in my perspective, this album is Billie Eilish and Phineas trying to distance themselves from the darker edginess of the aforementioned debut record. The album opens up with Getting Older, and it starts with this mellow, kind of, muffled keyboard, and then Billie starts quietly singing with her beautiful voice. Her singing is kind of like, it's super up close to my ear. Like, I like it. She starts singing about all kinds of things, like the title says, getting older, and basically what she's going through. The lyrics are kind of depressing, and this song, as it goes on, gets more and more complex with the instrumental. And I get the feeling that Billie is just, like, depressed while singing this. Like, she sounds completely done with everything. And I start to notice that her vocals and the whole song, like, I guess as a whole, gets echoier throughout the song. Plus a beat actually starts, and this opener is actually quite nice, and it sets the tone for the album in a good way. Then the next song, I Didn't Change My Number, starts off with what I think is like a dog sound effect or like a tiger, some sort of animal, but then it goes into this peppy, groovier hip-hop beat. The vocals on the song are pretty similar to those of the previous track, with that first being regular, but sometimes a kind of echoiness to it. Positive things out the way, this track is just a little bit too dry for me. I don't know, it's like they try to do something cool, but really it just ended up being uneventful. And then the next song, Billie Bossa Nova, has this kind of chill, bluesy guitar to open up the song, and this really nice finger snap beat to it, and the vocals are interesting. Speaking of vocals, at around the 53-second mark, Billie goes into this, like, kind of hollow falsetto vocals, and the instrumental has some changes, and then something that I absolutely hate happens. I've mentioned this before, but don't fade out songs. The song fades out at the end, but just don't do that, alright? It's cheesy, it's outdated, and it never works with the song structure. Next is the fourth song, which editing this now, and I just noticed that whenever I said fourth, I sounded absolutely British. That was not a joke, just know that I was just stupid on that part, okay? Which is My Future, and it's actually a single all the way from 2020, July of 2020, almost a year after this album came out, if I'm not mistaken. And it's not super original, but originality nowadays, especially in pop, isn't really a necessity, and I love the intimate instrumental at the beginning, and those echoey vocals I was talking about are just pretty great. That beat and the guitars that are added are really nice and jazzy and give it that extra flair, and the added vocal ad-libs are nice and add a lot. The song is quiet, stylish, and really what I expected coming into this record. And next is a fan favorite from what I've seen, Oxytocin, and it begins with this like thin drum beat and this thick bass that almost has like a futuristic kind of sex vibe, and it's almost spooky, I'll say that. This track will definitely end up in the Spotify playlist of every club in the US, and this track just, it works for me. I don't know why, it's great. Next song is Goldwing, and I know how I keep mentioning echoey vocals, but the vocals on the beginning of this track are echoey if I've ever heard them. And then it's kind of glitchy, I don't know what the term is, loud drum beat comes in, while Billie in the background keeps uttering Goldwing. And nothing much happens on this track, but I guess it's not bad. And next is yet another single, actually from the June of this year, and again, more chunky bass is present throughout the song, and I feel like this song is pretty sick, honestly. Not my favorite single from the album, but it was a good precursor to what it would have been like. And next is Halley or Halley's Comet. And this song is actually different because it has some nice pianos at the beginning. And the song is actually great to me because it's quiet and lyrically very nice. And, you know, I don't know. You guys should know that I love the quieter piano tracks on the album. And then next is Not My Responsibility, which is probably the most different out of all these tracks. Because it starts off very slowly with this instrumental going from ear to ear. And it's like an ambient kind of spoken track. And the song makes me feel like I hated on Billie Eilish or something. And then she kidnapped me and she's just whispering in my ear while I'm blindfolded, sitting on a white chair in a basement. She's just telling me, like, what do you think of this, huh? That was a little bit specific, but the lyrics on here are basically Billie talking about people criticizing for her on literally everything. Now, I'm glad Billie is bringing this up because there's a big problem with people criticizing everything about women. Oh, they're sluts, like stuff like that, you know. So I kind of love this track, even though there's nothing that happened. Like, there's not much that happens. And next is Overheated, which is a nice track that I liked at first, and I feel like kind of carries off from the last track. However, what kind of spoils it is Billie kind of shaming other women for choosing to get plastic surgery. Like what? Weren't you just talking about how, like, it's bad for people to shame people for how they look? Like, I'm looking at the lyric sheet of this song incorrectly, am I? I just feel like it's kind of weird to shame other women for getting, like, plastic surgery or, like, trying to look pretty. Whether she meant to or not, it just doesn't sit with me right, especially since the last track. And next is Everybody Dies. So I guess just by the title, we might be getting more signature Billie Eilish edginess, but that aside, this track is sort of kind of middling for me, I guess. I forgot about this track whenever I was writing the script for this video, so I guess that just goes to tell you something, and it's another instance of Billie and Phineas trying to make something happen, something interesting happen, but nothing really does. And next is another single, which is Your Power, which is the third single to this album. And I liked it. I enjoyed the change up in instrumentation with acoustic guitars, and Billie's voice is very nice on the song, and it also has kind of a storminess in the instrumental, if I'm hearing correctly. And next is the single, NDA, which is just ew. Have you guys seen the memes on it? Basically, it's because it sounds like the imposter theme from Among Us. You've heard it before, you know what it's like. And it sounds exactly like it. Like, can't they get sued for that? Like, the vocals also have this, like, auto-tune aspect to them for most of the song, and this track is just over the place, and it tries too hard to be, like, dark in a way, and this song is just fake edginess, and the beat is mind-numbing. I don't like this track at all. No, ew, why was this a choice for a single? I have no idea. Next is the last single on the album, which is Therefore I Am, and also coincidentally the most popular single on the album, and I love this. The darker tone that it has and that stop, what the hell are you talking about part, was really good. I definitely see why they chose this for a single, and it's kind of what I hoped for whenever I went into this album, and I'm loving it. It reminds me of a slightly newer version of a song that would be on the debut album. And I know I haven't mentioned this at all yet, but the production on this album is just stellar, and props to Phineas for the great production. Next is the song Happier Than Ever, and penultimately, this is the title track, which starts off with guitar, actually, this time, and this kind of bitter tone, I'm happier than ever. However, it's also kind of sweet. Then in the halfway mark, this song changes completely, goes into an alt-rock style, and everything becomes a lot more grand. Like, holy crap, there were full-on drums on this track. I was just showing, but hey, this is certainly welcome. And next is the final track, Male Fantasy, which is nice, actually. It doesn't really fit with the album that much, but whatever. So finally, I got to say my final thoughts, and this album was pretty good. And honestly, even though it was pretty messy, I really enjoyed a lot of the higher points of the album. I feel like Billie Eilish and co. tried to evolve from the debut album and mostly succeeded. Although I think I still prefer When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go a bit more, but, hey, that's just me. I'm feeling a light to decent 7 out of 10. It's good. I liked it. See you guys, that's the video. Ciao.